was a little bit of a video response for a Radionut R here on YouTube. He just recently got himself a realistic DX394, the A version from 1996, I believe. He recently contacted me about building a receive amplifier that'll work with this radio. Basically the same similar setup that I have inside of this one with the on and off switch. And in today's video we're going to build a how to build a receiver part by part. If you're interested in watching, stay tuned. So we're building a receiver amplifier, and it's going to be inside a 24 to 12 volt converter box. The converter itself cooked itself, but I like keeping the cabinets for projects such as this. So we're going to build the receive amplifier circuit right here, and we're going to build it inside this little case. I was on the fence about if I was going to run a DC or AC, and since I've got a small 26 volt transistor radio power supply, or transformer I should say, I figured I would just use it so I can plug it in the wall. The idea with this one is it would go in line with coax going to a receiver. I mentioned to Radionut R earlier that I may try to get this thing so it can be used with a low power transmitter like a CB radio, but we'll see how that goes. First we're going to get the receiver amplifier built, and we'll worry about the switching part of it later. But basically we're going to need a transformer, we're going to need a rectifier, we're going to need a regulator, and of course we're going to need some smoothing capacitors to help put the ripple on the power supply. We're going to need a grommet to run the AC cord out of the box. Of course we're going to need a couple of connectors, a screwed mount deregulator, an insulator for the regulator, and of course some piezo circuit board to build everything on, and a few resistors and a couple transistors, bit of wiring, blah blah blah, and we'll get her going. So there we have it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to mount the voltage regulator, then we're going to mount a transformer, then I'm going to mount the rectifier here, and from that we're going to build the power supply, and then from the power supply then we're going to see how much space we've got left over in the box to build a receive amplifier and switching blah blah whatever. So let's get this couple of doodads here mounted and see where we go from there. Okay, so I got the regulator over here mounted. This is 7812. I got the bridge rectifier, full wave bridge rectifier right here, and the transformer is now mounted. So next, need to do, obviously, we need to put a fuse holder in this thing to put on one side of the AC line, because you can never trust transformers. They can have a meltdown at any time. So we're going to put a fuse holder inside of this thing to put on the AC line on one side of it, and then we're going to continue on with the power supply section. Bring that out onto this circuit board, which I'm probably going to mount over here. The power supply for the contraption is all on this side, and then the amplifier I can put on this side. So what I'm thinking about doing is having one connector on this side and possibly another one on this side, so you screw it to the walls, just in out, straight in out. That's the idea. Or I may mount them side by side, but we'll see how space makes out here. But so far, yeah. I guess more wiring down here. That's the bridge rectifier here, so you can see the symbols. Two center ones are AC input, sine waves. Then the bottom pin is for negative, and the top pin here is positive. So there we have it. Anyway, fuse holder next. Okay, so now I have the fuse holder installed on the transformer, and it's all insulated. So next thing to do now is to add a power switch. This one here is going to be the switch. So I broke out a little Dremel here, and we're going to cut this to fit this switch. I'm just going to push it in, and it should lock in with the tabs here. So yeah, at least we're going to see how that's going to work. Hopefully it'll lock in. It should, but I don't know. Time will tell. Anyways, I gotta get that cut out now so the switch can mount here. And we put an LED in this so you know that the actual machine is turned on or off. Yeah. Anyway, get the Dremel out and cut a square or a rectangle. Clip this thing in and get the switch wired up. That's next. Okay, so we have the power switch, on and off switch, mounted. So now one side the AC line is going to be switched by the switch, goes through the fuse, back to the transformer, and the neutral side of the switch would go to this one, and the hot side will go through all of this. Anywho, there we have it. So now we can work on the filtering side of the power supply. So we've got some capacitors here. Might add an inductor or two here, just to help smooth it out a bit more. Put a couple electrolytics in there, a couple inductors, and we'll get. I was hoping to get it in here on this side, but right now it doesn't look like that's going to happen because we're out of space due to this here. So we're going to have to move this here board either to in front of the transformer, or I'm going to have to kind of somehow sort of like mount it here somehow. I think I could still get away with that there, because there'd still be enough room for a couple of electrolytics. It was around the AC line there, so I really don't want to put that over there. So I'm thinking where I'll put it, just to make it easier, is to put this board in front of the transformer. Much as I didn't want to do this, but we'll put the power supply board in front of the transformer right there, and we'll mount everything onto this. And of course, this just goes to the line, to the AC cord, so that's alright. But this here will be power supply filtering right here, and then this board then will feed the rest of the preamp here. That's the idea. So anyways, let's get the filter board populated here. A few capacitors, inductors, blah blah blah. Get the regulator wired up, get the rest of the rectifier wired up, and see how she goes. Okay, so this is the DC filter. So basically how this thing works, or what I have, is two inductors. They go in series. One goes in series with the ground, one goes in series with the positive. Then it goes across a 1000 UF 35 volt electrolytic, and then that yellow wire here goes to the power in on the regulator. Then we've got the ground, which goes to the regulator, and red will be my 12 volt out of the regulator. And on the output of the voltage regulator, I got a 330 UF 16 volt electrolytic. So I got a 1000 UF 35 volt on the right off the rectifier, and I have 330 UF 16 volt off the regulator. So it's a pretty simple little circuit. I can certainly put another 1000 UF 35 volt capacitor here if I wanted to, but we're going to give this a try. If we need to change it, we'll change it. If not, we'll just go with this. So now we'll install this inside the box, and then we've got the output which will feed the amplifier. So there we go. So there we have it. The board is now connected up. We got the bridge rectifier fully wired in. We have the voltage regulator wired in. That's my AC cord. One side goes to here. And then we've got our two DC outputs. That should be around 12 volts DC output right there. 12 volts DC. So we'll have a 120 volt AC in and 12 volt DC out. Yeah. We still got a nice bit of space to build the receive amp, which I'm probably not going to need no more than that for it, to actually build it on. But we'll see how it goes. So next thing we got to get installed in this thing is these connectors. The SO239s. They are the next to go in. So the question is, do we put them side by side? Do we put them on the back, boom and boom? Or what do you think? Put two here side by side? Or one in, one out, with a switch on the side? Decisions. Because I still gotta make room for the AC cord in this thing. So the AC cord still got to come into this box. And don't really want the AC cord coming on the switch side. No, on the switch. It'd be nice if this was actually the front, wouldn't it? There's a little hole here I can drill out and put in mount an LED there. So if I can get enough room, I can try and mount two connectors as well as the AC cord. The question is, do I have enough space to do that? I guess first thing I'm going to do is put the connectors in and see what space we got left, I suppose. Okay, so I've got the two connectors mounted on this side. It didn't leave me any space to put the AC cord. So unfortunately, I didn't want to do this, but the AC cord looks like it's going to have to come in on this side. I mean, I could put it in the cabinet, in the cover here. I could definitely run it on the mount it on the cover. I think it'll be coming in from this side. That side there is open. Or I don't know if I've got enough room in this corner over here. Would be nice if I did. There's only a small grommet. This one here. It's not that big. So if I can get him to lock in there, I might get away with it. It's the only spot I'll be able to get at. I'll have to take this binding post here off. And try maybe and get it into this corner. Should be a tight squeeze. It's possible. But it's going to be a tight squeeze there for sure. That's what I got to work with. Not a hell of a lot. Have a go at it, I suppose, and see if I can get it to go in there. Anyways, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try for this corner next to this fuse holder. See if I can't get it in down there. Because I don't need a lot of space for this. Let's see what I can do. The connectors are mounted anyways. So, only hold me back right now is the AC cord. Let's see if we can't get it over here or something. Okay, so I managed to get the AC cord in there. It was tight. She fits. And so what I got done, I'm switching the white, which is the neutral, and the hot goes straight to the transformer. So yeah, neutral is fused and switched, and hot goes straight to the transformer. So now we're just going to make sure that we have 12 volts from this power supply, because that 12 volts is going to feed the receive pre-amplifier, which is going to be sitting over here. So we got the power switch here, and we got the voltmeter. So let's switch it on. And we have 12.103 volts. So we have our 12 volts. I believe these voltage regulator can put out roughly maybe just shade under an amp, maybe an amp. But there'll be plenty to run the receive amplifier. So there we have it. So we've got the power supply built for the receive amplifier. So now we just need to build the receive amplifier now. That's the next step in this. It's a bit lengthy video, but It's a how-to video, and I'm sure there's some people out there would appreciate this kind of a video. Anyways, and turn her off. Right now she's off, and voltage take a dive there now very shortly. And there she goes. Capacitor's discharging. Anyways, let's get the circuit built now for the receive amp. Alright, so we've got the amplifier completed right there. And we got her hooked up. So disconnector's input, disconnector's output. And we've got our LED put in. And it powers up when you have power. So the only thing left to do is to try it. See how it works. A little bit of work to it, but overall I think this came out pretty good. And still got room here. If you wanted to, you'd even probably build a small audio amplifier in this thing. There's plenty of room in there for it. Cool. Anyways, let's cover our keys. So right now the amplifier is not on. Had to disconnect the LED. The wrong resistor value was put here and it's drawing down the power. But so just got that the ground disconnected for now. So this is the signal. Now we'll pop on the receive amplifier. Let's try it on the 394. The front end on this thing is easily overloaded. Okay, so we got 394 hooked up here. A little bit of background noise. Camera actually gives off interference a little bit. So let's turn on the amplifier. Misschien wil ik nog extra moet betalen op die afkoopladers, maar dat staat er ook allemaal bij. Ja, er zit een Bosch-motor op en al die elektronica is van Bosch. Dus, nou, dat we dan als het toch in de punt zijn, zou je dan extra...
Amplifier aan.
De spoorwegen die zijn allemaal weg hier, maar er zijn nog een paar spoorwegen Amplifier off. Amplifier on. Now this 394, actually I have a receive amp built into this one. I got it turned off. But let's turn this amplifier on. Let's turn this amplifier on and turn the other amplifier on. That's two amplifiers of the same type. Turn off this one. And we'll turn off the one in the radio. So there you go. The amplifier is indeed working. Anyways, got a little bit more filtering to do with the power supply. I'll probably end up having to do that with this space here, but for now, the receiver, amplifier, preamp does work. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. It's a little bit long, but I enjoyed making this one. And Radionut R, like I say, this is a video response to you, buddy. Radionut R. All the best, boys. 7-3.